Hey everyone, welcome back to Premier Ledger. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because trust me, you're going to want to follow this story. So, Meghan Markle is making headlines again, and this time it involves one of the richest men on the planet. We're talking about Jeff Bezos. People, according to reports coming out of Hollywood this week, the Duchess of Sussex has apparently been professionally wooing the Amazon founder. And yes, I said professionally with air quotes. You can't see. Because when has anything Meghan Markle done been purely professional? We're going to break down everything that happened at Kris Jenner's extravagant 70th birthday party, the insider reports that are setting Hollywood on fire, and what this could mean for Meghan's increasingly complicated relationship with Netflix. Buckle up, because this is going to be good. Let's start with the party itself, because the context here is everything. Kris Jenner turned 70. And being Kris Jenner, she didn't just have a party, she threw an event. The theme was Kris Jenner 0070, a James Bond-inspired extravaganza, complete with poker tables, custom poker chips with Kris's face on them, martinis flowing, and a color scheme that was pure red carpet glamour. The whole thing was held at Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's estate. And when I say estate, I mean estate. This isn't just a house. It's the kind of property that requires its own zip code. The event was coordinated by top Hollywood event planners, Mindy Weiss and Jeff Leatham, who basically create magic for a living. Everything looked absolutely stunning from the photos that came out. Now, Meghan and Harry were both in attendance, and this is where things start getting interesting. Multiple sources across Hollywood have been talking about Meghan's behavior at this party, and the word that keeps coming up is strategic. According to Charlotte Griffiths, who writes for the Mail on Sunday, there's been quite a bit of chatter in Hollywood circles about the way Meghan was apparently working the room. And by working the room, sources specifically mean working Jeff Bezos. Now, before we go further, let's acknowledge that Lauren Sanchez was right there. Jeff Bezos' fiancée was hosting this party alongside him. So the optics of what allegedly happened are, let's just say, not great. Here's what Charlotte Griffiths reported over the weekend, and this is directly from her article. Netflix bosses are said to have noted that the Duchess of Sussex appears to be professionally wooing Bezos. There has been much chatter at the streaming giant and beyond about the decision Meghan has made to return to the screen in the upcoming Amazon MGM Studios film called Close Personal Friends. In this film, Meghan will take on a cameo role playing herself. Some have claimed Meghan, who recently salvaged a first-look deal with Netflix after her $100 million 5-year deal came to an end, is simply being a canny businesswoman in siding with Bezos, rather than Netflix, to take on this acting job. This is 8 years after she left the cast of Suits, by the way, where she became engaged to Prince Harry. But here's where it gets even more telling. Another source pointed out that Bezos is one of the few people with enough money to bankroll any future projects, both on-screen and off-screen, that Meghan and Harry might like to work on. Let that sink in for a minute. We're not just talking about one film role. Sources are suggesting that Meghan is potentially positioning herself for a much larger relationship with Amazon and with Bezos, personally as a patron of sorts for future Sussex projects. A source from rival studio Disney told the Mail on Sunday, and I'm quoting here, "The Sussexes have been the subject of much chatter this week. People find it curious that Meghan seems to be professionally wooing Bezos, but to be brutally frank, who can blame her? He has all the money in the world and is one of the few people who can afford to bankroll any future projects of hers." Now let's talk about what this means in the context of Netflix. Meghan and Harry's relationship with Netflix has been complicated, to put it mildly. They signed that massive deal back in 2020, reportedly worth around $100 million over 5 years. That deal has now ended, and what they have instead is what's called a first-look deal. For those who don't know, a first-look deal is significantly less lucrative and offers much less security than a full production deal. Essentially, Netflix gets to see their projects first and can decide whether or not to greenlight them. But there's no guarantee of anything actually getting made. The Sussexes remain partners with Netflix through their production company, which has just released its first holiday-themed collection. But make no mistake, this is a major step down from where they were. According to sources at Netflix that spoke to the Mail on Sunday, people inside the company have definitely noticed that Meghan chose to make her acting return with Amazon rather than Netflix. One source said, and I'm quoting, Everyone in Hollywood is talking about Meghan making her return to acting in an Amazon film rather than a Netflix project. It's a bit like when Meghan and Harry sat down with Oprah Winfrey to give their first big interview post-exit. People all over town are wondering why they didn't come to Netflix. Now, publicly, Netflix is saying all the right things. They're not going to trash the Sussexes in the press. That's not how Hollywood works. But the source made it very clear that this decision has been noted. The exact words were, "Let's just say this has been noted." In Hollywood speak, that's significant. There's another layer to this that we need to discuss, and it involves what happened after Kris Jenner's party. Because apparently, the drama didn't end when the night ended. There was a whole situation involving photos and consent that blew up on social media. Meghan's team reportedly put out information suggesting that she and Harry had signed some kind of consent form at the party and had specifically ticked a box saying no to being photographed or included in social media posts. This was presented as if the Kardashians, or someone in their orbit, had violated their wishes by posting photos of them anyway. But here's the thing. Multiple sources have said there was no such consent form. It didn't exist. What actually happened, according to reports, is that Kris Jenner posted 3 separate photo carousels on her Instagram, showing highlights from the party. One of those posts, the black and white themed one, originally included images of Harry and Meghan. After the backlash started, those images were quietly removed. But here's the kicker. Meghan herself had liked that specific post. This is still visible on Instagram if you go look. So let me get this straight. Meghan liked the post that contained photos of her and Harry, but then her team claimed they hadn't consented to the photos being shared? The math isn't mathing, as the kids say. This whole consent form narrative fell apart spectacularly when the Kardashians essentially smacked it down. Sources close to the family made it very clear that no such form existed, and that the Sussexes were being, let's say, creative with the truth. It was one of the more public celebrity disputes we've seen in a while, and it definitely didn't make Meghan and Harry look good. When you're going up against the Kardashian public relations machine, and you're on the wrong side of the facts, you're going to lose. Every single time. So let's circle back to Jeff Bezos and what's really going on here. A source at William Morris Endeavor, which is the massive talent agency that represents Meghan, told the newspaper that the Duchess is a smart businesswoman and very much in control of her career and where she sees it going. Of course, people are talking about her connection to Jeff Bezos and the fact she's chosen to star in an Amazon film, but there are very few big players in town, and she has 2 of them, Netflix and Amazon. She's a canny businesswoman. Underestimate her at your peril. Okay, so that's the official line from her representation. She's strategic, she's business savvy, she's playing the Hollywood game. But let's look at the actual track record here. The Netflix deal, which was supposed to be their big entree into Hollywood power, has produced what exactly? A documentary series about themselves that got attention primarily because of the drama it stirred up. A cooking show that hasn't exactly set the world on fire. And a first look deal that's a shadow of what they had before. Meanwhile, Harry's separate projects have had mixed results at best. The Invictus Games documentary performed okay, but nothing has been the massive hit that would justify that $100 million price tag they started with. Now, Meghan is returning to acting after 8 years away, and it's in a cameo role playing herself in a film called Close Personal Friends. The irony of that title is not lost on anyone, given that Meghan has publicly burned bridges with most of her pre-royal life friends and family. She's essentially playing a version of herself, which raises the question, is she really acting at all? And more importantly, is this the big comeback that's supposed to revitalize her Hollywood career? A cameo role? After everything that's happened, after the royal exit, after the Oprah interview, after the Netflix deal, we're back to cameo appearances? Multiple sources have pointed out something that I think is really important to understanding this situation. Meghan's Achilles heel as an actress has always been that she's not particularly good at acting. That's not me being mean. That's industry people talking. Before she met Harry, her career was already plateauing. The roles had dried up. She was on Suits, which was a solid cable show. But she wasn't the star, and she wasn't getting other major offers. There's a reason she was so actively looking for other opportunities, including the relationship that would eventually lead her to Harry. She knew the acting career had a ceiling, and she'd pretty much hit it. So what is this Jeff Bezos situation really about? According to sources, it's about money. Plain and simple. Bezos is one of the few people on the planet who could write a check for basically any project Meghan and Harry wanted to do without even noticing the money was gone. We're talking about someone whose net worth fluctuates by billions based on Amazon stock prices on any given day. If Meghan can get into his good graces, if she can position herself as someone worth investing in, then suddenly a lot of doors open. Not just for acting roles, but for production deals, for passion projects, for the kind of lifestyle funding that would let them maintain their Montecito mansion and private jet lifestyle without having to worry about actually producing profitable content. The problem is that Lauren Sanchez is not someone you want to cross, and she's not going to be blind to what's happening. Lauren is herself a major player in Hollywood. She's a former entertainment reporter and news anchor. She's now a producer and businesswoman in her own right. She knows how the game is played, and she's not going to sit back while someone allegedly flirts with her fiancé under the guise of business networking. According to sources who observed the party, there was definitely some tension around how much time Meghan was spending trying to engage with Jeff, whether that was truly inappropriate or just overly ambitious. Networking depends on who you ask, but the fact that people noticed and are talking about it tells you something. Here's what I think is really happening. Meghan and Harry are in a precarious position. The royal family has made it clear they're not welcome back in any meaningful capacity. The Hollywood deal that was supposed to be their financial security has turned into a much smaller arrangement that requires them to actually produce content. People want to watch. Their celebrity status is based primarily on their royal connection and the drama they've created, not on actual talent or accomplishments in the entertainment industry. They're expensive to maintain as celebrity friends because they come with so much baggage and controversy, and they're running out of runway. The public interest can only sustain itself on drama for so long before people just get tired of the story. So yes, Meghan is probably trying to cultivate a relationship with Jeff Bezos. Why wouldn't she? He represents exactly what she needs: unlimited resources, major platform access through Amazon, and social credibility in the highest circles of wealth and power. The question is whether Jeff Bezos needs or wants anything Meghan Markle is offering professionally. Because let's be honest, what is she bringing to the table? She's not a proven box office draw. She's not a critically acclaimed actress. Her production company hasn't created any hits. She's famous for being famous at this point, and for the controversy that follows her everywhere. That's not nothing in Hollywood. Controversy can be monetized, but it's also not the kind of thing that someone like Jeff Bezos typically needs to attach himself to. The Netflix situation adds another interesting wrinkle to all of this. If Meghan is indeed trying to pivot away from Netflix and toward Amazon, she's making a very public statement about where she thinks her future lies. She's essentially telling Netflix that she has other options, and they need to value her more if they want to keep her. But that strategy only works if you have real leverage. Does Meghan have leverage? The viewing numbers for her content would suggest not really. The positive critical reception would suggest not really. The public goodwill would definitely suggest not really. So she's playing a high-stakes game of chicken with a company that has thousands of other projects and personalities they could invest in instead. What's fascinating is watching how Hollywood is reacting to all of this. The sources who are talking to the press are not being particularly kind or subtle. They're making it very clear that people have noticed Meghan's maneuvering, and they're not impressed. The Disney source who said people find it curious, but who can blame her, is giving her credit for trying, while also making it clear that everyone sees exactly what she's doing. The Netflix source who said this has been noted is putting down a marker that there will be consequences for what they see as disloyalty. The WME source defending her as a savvy businesswoman is doing their job as her representation. But even that statement has a defensive quality to it. Underestimating her at your peril sounds tough, but it also sounds like something you say when people are in fact estimating someone pretty accurately, and you don't like the conclusion they're reaching. And then there's the Kris Jenner party photo situation, which just makes everything messier. Because if you're trying to court Jeff Bezos and his fiancée as potential business partners and benefactors, the last thing you want is a public fight with the person who hosted the party at their home. It makes you look ungrateful. It makes you look like you're trying to control a narrative that everyone else was living in real time. And it makes you look dishonest when the facts don't support your version of events. The Kardashians have a lot of influence in Hollywood and in the celebrity world, generally. Having them as enemies, or even just as people who think you're more trouble than you're worth, is not a smart career move. So where does this leave us? Meghan Markle is apparently trying to position herself as someone worth Jeff Bezos' attention and investment. She's taking a cameo role in an Amazon film, her first acting work in 8 years. She's navigating a diminished relationship with Netflix that used to be her main source of Hollywood credibility. She's dealing with the fallout from a poorly planned narrative about consent and photos at a party that made her look bad. And she's doing all of this while her husband Harry pursues his own separate projects, and while their overall brand continues to be divisive at best. The question everyone in Hollywood seems to be asking is, what's the end game here? Because right now, it looks like a lot of hustle. Without a clear strategy, I want to know what you think about all of this. Do you think Meghan is being smart by trying to diversify beyond Netflix and court someone like Jeff Bezos? Or do you think this is a desperate move that's going to backfire? And what about the whole photo situation at Kris Jenner's party? Do you believe there was a consent form, or do you think that was damage control after the fact? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I genuinely want to hear what you all think about this situation. It's messy, it's complicated, and it's absolutely not over yet. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We're covering all the celebrity drama you need to know about, and trust me, there's a lot more coming. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.